It was my idea to get a divorce. When my wife, Chloe, heard me say the words, her face was a mask of pure shock. Ethan, are you insane? Why are you suddenly saying this to me? Chloe's eyes bored into mine, as if she couldn't possibly believe I was the one bringing this up. I didn't say anything, just sat on the couch, my gaze empty. That seemed to rile her up. She strode over, standing before me with an air of arrogant disbelief. No, you're going to explain this to me right now. Why do you want a divorce? I was too tired to fight. You haven't answered my calls or returned a single text in 2 days, I said flatly. What am I to you? Realization finally dawned on her face, and she scoffed, waving a dismissive hand. Is that all? I thought the world was ending. Besides, I told you I had a mandatory company training retreat. No phones allowed. How was I supposed to call you? She said, her voice ringing with self-righteousness, as if I were a complete idiot. Then she picked up her phone and dialed her mother. Mom, you need to come over. Ethan wants to divorce me. Yes, right now. You, Dad, and Kevin should all come. So, she was calling in reinforcements. So much for not airing our dirty laundry. If she wanted to make it a family affair, fine. I was curious to see what her parents would have to say. A short while later, the door burst open and a furious trio stormed in. My father-in-law, my mother-in-law, and my brother-in-law, Kevin. Ethan, have you lost your mind? What is this nonsense about a divorce? My mother-in-law demanded, the wrinkles on her face deepening into a scowl that made my skin crawl. I explained the situation again. I couldn't reach Chloe for 2 days. Not a single call or text. I was starting to think she dropped off the face of the earth. My father-in-law immediately started lecturing me. A real man doesn't get worked up over something so small. Didn't Chloe tell you? It was a work retreat. Yeah, man, where's your perspective? Kevin chimed in, his mouth full of the $70,000 veneers I had paid for last year. My sister works her ass off for her career, for this family. You should be grateful. I wanted to punch him so hard his perfect, expensive teeth would scatter across the floor. The frustration was a physical weight in my chest. I pulled out my phone and passed it to them. On the screen was a photo of Chloe, hand in hand with a strange man, walking out of a hotel. She was leaning against his shoulder, a blissful smile on her face, a smile I honestly hadn't seen in years. The second Chloe saw the picture, she lunged at me, trying to snatch the phone. You, delete that right now. I smirked. Anything else you'd like to say? She froze for a second, then pivoted. You don't trust me. You were following me. There it was. When the facts weren't on her side, her favorite move was to muddy the waters. No, I said calmly. It was a coincidence. And it was. Until that moment, I never would have believed that Chloe, my loving wife, would cheat on me. That she could be so cruel as to ghost me while she was shacked up in a hotel with her lover. I guess some beautiful faces really do hide the ugliest hearts. While I was lost in thought, my mother-in-law's hand cracked across my face. A sharp, stinging slap. You petty, jealous bastard. You don't have female colleagues. The unprovoked assault sent a jolt of pure rage through me, and my hands clenched into fists. What? You want to hit me now? She shrieked. Do you have any idea how much my daughter has sacrificed for this family? She was on a roll now. You call yourself a man? You make, what, $100,000 a year? You can't even properly support my Chloe in this city. If it weren't for this family, do you think she'd have to push herself so hard at work? So what if my daughter walked next to a male colleague? You can't handle that? Your brain must be rotted with jealousy. Her tirade was relentless, expertly shifting all the blame onto my shoulders. I was dumbfounded. The fire in my chest was about to erupt. She's cheating on me, and you're defending her? Are you all blind? Didn't you see them holding hands? My voice was rising, matching their volume. Already called the hotel. There was no mandatory company training retreat. But Chloe and this guy did check into a room together for 2 days. So what else you got? I roared out my final demand. I'm done with all of you. This divorce is happening. I pointed around the living room. This apartment is mine. Pack up Chloe's things and get out. Chloe suddenly let out a cold, sharp laugh. Ethan, you're accusing me of cheating based on one blurry photo? Are you sick? I'm telling you, I didn't cheat. Then who is that man? I expected her to pause, to craft some elaborate lie. Instead, she answered without hesitation. He's new at our company, hasn't found an apartment yet. I never even went to his room that day. Go ahead, check the security footage if you don't believe me. She knew I couldn't get the footage. The hotel would never release it to me. She thought she had all the power. I laughed a bitter, hollow sound, and holding his hand. It's the angle of the photo. I couldn't listen to any more of her ridiculous explanations. When a woman believes she's done nothing wrong, the sky could fall and she wouldn't admit her fault. Of course, she couldn't admit it. I was the one who wanted the divorce. Desperate denial was her only play. Enough, my father-in-law bellowed. You're going to throw away a marriage over something this trivial? Ethan, let me ask you, in all these years, have you ever truly cared for my Chloe? Have you ever worked hard for your future together? In this city, after you pay the mortgage, how much of your pathetic salary is even left? Are you even a man? I sneered. I'm not a man. Then what does that make you? Living in the apartment I pay the rent on. Thump. Before I could finish, Kevin's fist slammed into my chest. Ethan, you son of a bitch. Are you looking to die? You think you could talk to my dad like that? Kevin lunged at me, ready to brawl, but his father held him back. A cold, dead feeling settled in my chest. I had never felt so utterly disappointed in another human being. I hated this. I hated that I wasn't grabbing a knife from the kitchen and ending this nightmare. I hated that I ignored my family's warnings and married this venomous woman. And I hated that I worked my ass off every single day, only to be called useless by these leeches. Now, even getting a divorce wasn't up to me. I walked right up to Chloe. I'm asking you one last time. Are you signing the papers or not? A sly, cruel smile spread across her face. What if I told you that divorcing me would completely and utterly ruin you? Would you still want to do it? For a moment, I didn't understand what she meant. In my mind, the fact that I hadn't already beaten her to a pulp was the height of my restraint. She was the one in the wrong. What kind of game was she playing? Ruin me? You're welcome to try. I threw the words at her like a challenge, then pointed to the door. I'm tired. I'm going to bed. All of you get out. My mother-in-law and Kevin looked ready to attack me again. You ungrateful bastard. A country boy like you marrying our Chloe was a 1 in a billion miracle. What more could you possibly want? Chloe already explained it was just a colleague. Why do you have to be so small-minded? Ruin him. He has to be ruined. If you dare divorce my daughter, I'll haunt you from my grave. Listening to my mother-in-law's vicious threats, I desperately wanted to slap her. I'd never realized how similar she and her daughter were. No, the whole family was cut from the same rotten cloth. In 3 years of marriage, who besides me had earned a single dollar for this household? Her parents were retired, living off us. When they needed money, they just asked Chloe, who then asked me. Kevin was the same, 28 years old, no job, no girlfriend, a complete man-child. And Chloe? She was a receptionist at some firm, a pretty face, and not much else. She made maybe 40 grand a year, not even enough to cover her own spending. It suddenly hit me why they were so desperate to stop this divorce. To them, I wasn't a husband or a son-in-law. I was a cash cow, an ATM. Without my salary, they'd all be out on the street. My father-in-law pulled Chloe toward the door. Let's go. We're going home for the night. Don't sleep under the same roof as this heartless piece of trash. As he passed, he spat on the floor near my feet. You hick, he snarled. I'll give you 1 night to cool your head. If you still want a divorce tomorrow, I'll beat the shit out of you myself. Kevin grabbed a book off the coffee table and hurled it at me. You ever hurt my sister again, I swear to God I'll break both your legs, even if it means going to prison. Chloe, on the other hand, adopted a look of detached superiority. I'll agree to a divorce, she said coolly, but you should think very carefully about what I said earlier. With that, she and her family of vampires left. I collapsed onto the sofa, my head throbbing. I didn't know when Chloe had become this person. Where was the sweet, innocent girl I'd fallen in love with? The one who swore she loved only me, who talked about having my children. All of it felt like a distant, foggy dream. I sat there, replaying her thread in my mind. Ruin me? Could this really all be a misunderstanding? No, it couldn't be. I saw what I saw. Chloe cheated on me. I refused to believe that evil could triumph over truth. So what did I have to be afraid of? My mind was clear on one thing: divorce. Anyone who stood in my way was my enemy. Exhausted, I eventually drifted off to sleep right there on the couch, and memories of how Chloe and I began flooding my mind. You're Ethan, right? I'm Chloe, from the business school. It's nice to meet you. That was the first thing she ever said to me. Back then, Chloe was the queen of the business school, untouchable. The line of guys trying to ask her out probably stretched from the campus gates to the train station. So when she approached me, I was stunned. Are you talking to me? I was a total bookworm back then, living in a library. Nothing interested me except my studies. I knew that for a kid from a small town in Ohio, education was my only ticket out. So when a most beautiful girl on campus smiled and held out her hand, my brain short-circuited. Of course, she'd said, her smile radiant. I've noticed you around for a while. That smile was like a torrential downpour on the barren desert of my 20-year-old love life. I know I must have looked like a complete fool. The first thing I did when I got back in my dorm was call my mom. Oh, honey, that's wonderful news. You should see where it goes with this girl. I was hesitant. But Mom, she's a city girl. Why would she be interested in me? Who can explain matters of the heart? My mom had said, trying to boost my confidence. Maybe she likes how smart you are. And that's how our improbable story began. In the months that followed, any time I wasn't studying was spent with Chloe. I'm not sure you could even call them dates. I was always clumsy and awkward, but I was sincere. I once saved up for an entire month, skipping meals to the point of giving myself stomach problems just to take her to a fancy restaurant. And to me, it was worth it. My roommate used to tease me. The nerd is dating the campus queen. I believe in love again. Every time I heard that, a secret, happy smile would spread across my face. I felt like the luckiest guy in the world. After graduation, I went on to get my master's. Chloe entered the workforce right away. Her logic was, you focus on your studies. You can support me later. I naively believed her. To give her a better life, I worked harder than ever. After grad school, I landed my dream job offer at a boutique media startup. A year later, I was promoted to Associate Director of Creative Content. My career was taking off, things were looking up. Our relationship was too. We were as in love as ever, and we got married. On our wedding day, I invited every relative I had. I wanted the whole world to witness my happiness. My parents cried, telling me how proud they were that I'd finally made it. My old college friends praised me, calling me a model of success through hard work. A successful career, a beautiful wife. I was their role model. I soaked up all the praise. I truly believe it was my destiny to suffer early on so I could enjoy a sweet life later. Whenever someone asked Chloe why she'd married a bookworm like me, she would wrap her arm around mine, smile radiantly, and say that I gave her a sense of security. I was completely content. With a woman like Chloe by my side, what more could a man ask for? After we got married, I threw myself even deeper into my work. My parents had loaned me the money for the down payment on our apartment, and Chloe had thoughtfully never asked to have her name put on the deed. Because of that, I felt I owed her everything. I gave her my debit card and direct deposit info without a second thought. Out of my six-figure salary, I only kept $1,000 a month for myself. I thought our life would be one of those picture-perfect love stories that everyone envies. Until I saw that photo. That's when I realized how wrong I was. Looking back, the signs were there. After we got married, Chloe insisted on sleeping in the guest room. She claimed she didn't want to disturb my rest, since I was the family's breadwinner. She said I needed to focus on making money, not waste my energy on other things. I asked her when we could have a baby. My parents were getting older and wanted to be grandparents. Chloe would just smile and say, let's wait a couple of years. When you're making $500,000 a year, then we'll have kids. We'll be under less pressure. I believed her. I gave her the space and trust she asked for. Then, the company's profits started to slide. When the pandemic hit, they started doing layoffs. I wasn't on a list, but my salary took a major hit, a cut of about 30%, which was almost the exact amount of our mortgage payment. With fewer people on the team, I was working late every night. One night, I got home at 10 p.m., and for the first time ever, Chloe blew up at me. Why is your paycheck so much smaller this month? You're working overtime every day, so where's the money? I gave a weary smile. The market's tough right now. I'm lucky to still have a job. Once business picks up, my salary will go back up. She slammed my debit card down on the table. After the mortgage, there's only a few $1,000s left. How am I supposed to live on that? I didn't quite grasp what she was implying. Well, you're still making 40 grand a year, I said with a smile. We just have to get through this rough patch. I'd always believed that couples who endure hardship together build a stronger bond. But I was also starting to realize that Chloe was not the type of person who handled hardship well. What? You expect me to struggle with you? She snapped. Look at our class president from college. It's only been a few years, and he's already making over $1 million a year. And look at, she rattled off a list of examples, all meant to illustrate how slowly I was advancing. The bottom line was, this amount of money wasn't enough for her. I'd never seen her so angry. I just stood there, speechless. I thought maybe I really was the one at fault. Maybe if I just tried a little harder. Honey, things will get better. Stop. Don't feed me that bullshit. She threw the words at me like daggers and stormed back to her room. The door slammed shut with a deafening crack. It was only then that I realized I hadn't eaten dinner and my stomach was growling. After that, she started several more fights about money. As a form of revenge, she began coming home later and later. When I gently asked where she'd been, telling her I was worried, she'd snap, "Why do you care?" That was when I knew. It was like she'd become a different person. And I understood a harsh truth. If a man doesn't have money, he's not even considered a good person. In the following weeks, the company's performance remained stagnant, like a pool of dead water. Meanwhile, Chloe came home later each night. A few times, she stumbled in drunk, supported by a group of girls caked in heavy makeup. "Don't touch me," she'd slur, flinching away when I tried to help her to bed, as if I were contaminated. The disgust on her face was plain to see. Then one time, after working 20 days straight, my body finally gave out. I collapsed. I felt like I was dying, utterly drained, drenched in a cold sweat. I didn't even have the strength to get myself a glass of water. When Chloe came home and saw me, the first thing she did was put on a mask. 2 of them. "Stay away from me," she said. "I can't risk catching whatever you have." Her words were so cold, they stopped me from asking her to get me some water. She didn't ask if I was okay, didn't offer any help. A complete stranger would have shown more compassion. "Honey," I finally managed to croak, my throat dry. Could you give me a glass of water?" She walked over, holding a bank statement, acting as if she hadn't heard me. "My brother's veneers cost $70,000. Just letting you know." Then she turned and walked away, leaving me to fend for myself. In the darkness, I let out a long sigh. It felt like fate had its hands wrapped around my throat again. Somehow, I pulled through, though my health felt permanently damaged. Later, I checked my bank account. The balance was down by $30,000. When I asked Chloe where the money went, she was defiant. Her brother's dental work, front and back, cost over $15,000. The 1-year lease on an apartment for her parents was another 10. The rest? Clothes, shoes, bags. It was just gone. "It's not that much money. Why are you making such a big deal about it? You're useless." I think I was the first time she ever called me useless. A sharp, indescribable pain clenched my heart. $30,000. That was a huge chunk of my annual salary. When my own mother needed surgery last year, I couldn't get a dime from Chloe. I had to max out a credit card to pay for it. How could you be so casual? We fought constantly after that, but I eventually resigned myself to it. This was my life now, until I saw her walking out of that hotel, arm in arm with him. That's when I knew I had to do something. We couldn't go on like this. I might be quiet, I might be a bit of a pushover, but I'm not an idiot. Betrayal, cheating, that was a line I would never let anyone cross. As for her threat to ruin me, I didn't give a second thought. I had done nothing wrong. I had the truth on my side. What was there to fear? But I had severely underestimated the viciousness of a woman like Chloe. The next morning, I was jolted awake by a call from my best friend, Alex. "Ethan, Chloe's not with you, is she?" A jolt of adrenaline shot through me. How'd he know? No, she's at her mom's. I couldn't bring myself to tell him the truth. It was too humiliating. Alex sighed. "What the hell is going on with you two? Did you have a fight?" I was still groggy, confused. "Alex, just tell me what's happening." His voice was urgent. "Dude, open up Instagram. Chloe just posted a novel about you. She's putting you on blast." It hit me then. Chloe had a decent number of followers on Instagram. But why would she be posting about me? I scrambled to open the app. When I saw her post, my entire body started to shake with rage. The title read, "How long does it take to truly know someone? A list of the things my husband has done to me during our marriage." My hands trembling, I clicked to read more. In Chloe's telling, I was a monster. Every word was a carefully crafted dagger. After we got married, my husband repeatedly forced himself on me while drunk, causing severe internal injuries and likely robbing me of my ability to ever have children. He was constantly physically abusive. There isn't a single part of my body that isn't covered in bruises. He degraded me, controlled me, and subjected me to daily psychological abuse. I feel like I'm going insane. I suddenly understood what she meant by ruin me. After reading the masterpiece of fiction she'd written, a cold sweat broke out all over my body. Hell hath no fury. I had underestimated her cruelty. Her writing was so convincing that if I weren't the subject, I might have believed it myself. And of course, the comment section was a cesspool. A tidal wave of hatred, all directed at me. Everyone was rushing to Chloe's defense. "OMG, I feel so bad for you, girl. You married a monster. This guy is human garbage. Marital rape is still rape. I hope you take this psycho to court and get justice. Divorce him. He needs to be chemically castrated so he can't hurt anyone else. Stay strong, sis. We've got your back. Don't let this abusive asshole win." Then, some internet sleuths in the comments started posting my personal information. My phone number, my social media handles, everything. They even found out where my parents lived and what they did for a living, posting every detail. The more I read, the colder I felt. The hand holding my phone wouldn't stop shaking. I knew, without a doubt, that Chloe had secretly leaked all of it. She wanted to destroy me. She was using the power of public opinion to bury me alive, to ensure I would never recover. What was I supposed to do? My mind was exploding. I just sat on the couch, paralyzed. My phone started buzzing nonstop, the notifications quickly hitting 99+. They were all messages from strangers. "You subhuman piece of shit, why don't you just die? You pretend to be some educated gentleman, but you're disgusting. When you were hitting your wife, did you ever stop to think your own mother is a woman? I hope your whole family rots. Go get hit by a bus, you cheating bastard." My old college alumni group chat was blowing up too. Is this for real? I can't believe it. Ethan was such a great guy. How could he do something like this? Why is it so hard to believe? People change. I'll admit it, I was starting to panic. My carefully constructed life, my reputation built over 2 decades of hard work, had been annihilated by Chloe in a single night. I felt like a criminal, stripped naked and put on public display, just moments away from being executed. Alex called again. Ethan, where are you? I'm coming over. I told him I was at home, and he hung up. For the first time in my life, I went to the liquor cabinet, pulled out a bottle of whiskey, and poured a glass. The burn in my throat was nothing compared to the knife Chloe had twisted in my heart. The iPad in the bedroom started chiming with notifications. I rushed over and saw that Chloe's iMessage was still logged in. In her hurry to leave last night, she'd forgotten to pack it. I never looked at her private messages before. It always felt like a violation. But this time, I didn't hesitate. She was in a heated chat with a contact saved as my love. My love. I clicked on it, and the blood rushed to my head. Babe, I posted it online. Let's see how he tries to fight me now. That loser actually had the nerve to ask for a divorce. Who does he think he is? Just some broke-ass hick from the middle of nowhere. Don't worry, he's a spineless coward. He can't win against me. I told him I'd ruin him, and I will. I felt dizzy. I clicked on the contact's profile picture. My stomach dropped. It was Vincent, Chloe's college boyfriend. My mind flashed back to the photo from the hotel. The man's face had been vaguely familiar. Now I knew why. It was him. It had to be. Chloe never deleted her conversations, confident I would never snoop. I scrolled back through their chat history. It was filled with flirtatious messages, loving emojis, and money transfers. And it was always Chloe sending him money. One transfer was for over $2,000. Here's a Valentine's gift, babe. Don't worry, his money is my money. I can spend it however I want. He can't say a thing. Just text me the hotel room. I'll tell him I'm working late. I'll spend all night with you. So, they'd never broken up. They'd been seeing each other this whole time. They'd even snuck off to a hotel on our wedding day. This time, she just got unlucky and I happened to catch her. I stared at their messages, my fist clenching so hard my knuckles turned white. Then I saw a message from last September, and a guttural roar of fury escaped my lips as I slammed my fist into the bed. Babe, I'm pregnant. It has to be yours. I haven't let him touch me in months. What are you so nervous about? Worst case, I'll just divorce him and be with you. You keep saying your job isn't stable, but when is it ever going to be? I can't spend the rest of my life with this loser. You're the one I love. Fine, I'll do what you say. I'll get rid of it. But you need to get your career sorted out. Good night. I remembered. Last September, Chloe stayed in bed for a week, saying she felt terribly sick. I took time off work to take care of her. I cooked for her, did the laundry, waited on her hand and foot, trying to make sure she was comfortable. I had no idea. She was recovering from an abortion after getting pregnant by another man, and I was the clueless husband taking care of her. She put this goddamn scarlet letter on me herself. Damn it. Why? Chloe, you bitch. If you didn't love me, why did you marry me? Why did you pretend to be so in love? Everyone has a right to be happy, but you don't get to build your happiness on the ruins of my life. And now that I found out about you and Vincent, you put me on blast online, sicking a mob of clueless strangers on me. You are a heartless monster. I wiped a tear from my eye and shot up from the floor. Chloe, you wanted to destroy my life? Now I'm going to destroy yours. I was overcome with a righteous fury. I quickly screenshotted every single incriminating message between her and Vincent. This was my ammunition. I was going to make that bitch understand the fury of a man pushed too far. She wouldn't be able to handle it. I exited their chat and saw what she had saved my contact name as. Useless husband, ATM. A cold, bitter laugh escaped my lips. So that's all I ever was to her. I grabbed my phone and immediately changed the passwords to all my bank accounts. Thankfully, she hadn't drained them completely yet, but years of my savings were already gone, pissed away by her and her family. I stood in front of the mirror, staring at my own reflection. Eyes bloodshot, face pale. A grim smile spread across my face. Chloe, you wanted to play? Let's play. By the time Alex arrived, I was calm. I handed him a beer. He looked at me, confused. I thought you didn't really drink. I didn't answer, just took a long pull from my own bottle. Alex sat down, his brow furrowed. Ethan, I know this is all bullshit. Chloe is lying. There's no way you'd do any of that stuff. I looked at him grateful. I just nodded. So what's your plan? This online mob stuff is terrifying. He'd clearly seen enough cancellation stories to be worried about me. I smirked and showed him the screenshots of Chloe and Vincent's chats. I knew that woman was trouble. Alex exploded after reading them. What a damn snake. She cheats on you, then turns around and bites you? No way. Let's go find her right now. I shook my head. She's probably got another move planned. I can't rush this. If I panic, I'll lose. I took another drink and pointed around the apartment. I need you to do something for me. Go buy me a few hidden cameras. Alex pointed at the phone. But you have proof right here. My smile was cold. It's not enough. I want to make her pay. I had wasted years of my life, poured my entire heart into this woman. A simple divorce was the bare minimum. And knowing Chloe, this online smear campaign was just the beginning. I was not going to let her get away with this. Not her, not her parents, not her brother. None of them. Alex looked at me like he was seeing me for the first time. You want to escalate things? But man, public opinion is completely against you right now. I don't care. It was like I was reborn, fearless. Alex clapped me on the shoulder. All right, brother. I'm with you. I'll start digging into this Vincent guy. I gave him a grateful look and sent him off to buy the cameras. Not long after he left, my boss called. Ethan, I need you to come to the office. Now, it was Amelia, the CEO. Her voice was flat, unreadable. I took a guess. Is this about what my wife posted online? I'd seen people in the comments mentioning my company. I figured the fallout had already reached her. Amelia didn't elaborate, just told me to hurry. When I got to the office, everyone stared at me with suspicion, whispering and pointing. A few female colleagues I'd always gotten along with actively avoided me. From the looks of disgust on their faces, you'd think I was carrying the plague. I knew I hadn't done anything wrong, but under the weight of so many hostile glares, I couldn't help but lower my head. I walked into Amelia's office. Before she could speak, I said, Amelia, if I've caused any trouble for the company, I'm prepared to resign. I wanted to salvage what little dignity I had left. She seemed surprised by my offer. She smiled and poured me a glass of water. I know you're not that kind of person, Ethan. You're the one who married poorly, not the other way around. Her words hit me like a ton of bricks, and a tear I couldn't hold back splashed onto the floor. I call her by her first name, but she was only 2 years older than me. She was still the boss, and she'd earned my respect. Amelia came over and put a hand on my shoulder. Go home and handle your personal life. If you need help, call this number. She placed a business card on the desk in front of me. It was for a lawyer. I looked up at her, a wave of emotion washing over me. I knew this scandal was hurting the company. Even if I was innocent, they had no obligation to help me. Amelia, you believe me. You've been here for years, Ethan. Do you think I don't know what kind of man you are? Though she was young, Amelia was a savvy businesswoman who had fought her way to the top. For her to say that, at a time like this, meant the world to me. She had my back. I stood up and pocketed the card. Okay, I'll go then. Thank you, Amelia. She just nodded and waved me out. As I was leaving her office, I saw a message from Amelia pop up in the company-wide group chat. Ethan is a valuable member of this team. If anyone, publicly or privately, contradicts that, they can report directly to HR. I was deeply moved. The woman I shared my bed with wanted to ruin my life, while a near stranger was giving me her unwavering trust. That afternoon, I installed the cameras Alex bought me, one pointing at the front door, one in the living room, and one in the bedroom. I double-checked to make sure they were completely hidden. By evening, Chloe had posted another essay on Instagram. Her tone was, as always, pitiful and tragic. I've thought about it for a long time, and I want to give him another chance. If he's willing to apologize to me publicly, I will choose to forgive him. Everyone makes mistakes. For the sake of our family, I'm willing to sacrifice anything. The thought of divorce has crossed my mind, but then I remember all the sweet moments we shared, and my heart just breaks. She probably even believed her own lies, casting herself as the victim. The comments section lit up again. Girl, don't be so forgiving. A man like that will never change. Exactly. A leopard can't change its spots. Just leave him. Don't do this to yourself. He's not worth it. My heart hurts for you. You don't deserve this. Is he threatening you? Tell us. We're all on your side. Don't be afraid. Chloe replied to one of the comments with a single heartbroken emoji. Then she dropped the bomb. Thank you all for your concern. As long as he apologizes and promises to change, it will be enough. After all, I'm pregnant. Pregnant? My heart seized in my chest. What new hell was this? Out of nowhere, she was pregnant? To completely destroy me, she would stop at nothing. As expected, the comments erupted into a fresh wave of fury against me. That bastard. His wife is pregnant, and he's still abusing her? Someone send this guy a funeral wreath. The world's biggest piece of shit. Does he have any idea how vulnerable pregnant women are? Let's go. We should show up at his door and protest this monster. The situation was spiraling out of control. Chloe had successfully incited a riot. I forced myself to stay calm and opened the iPad. Sure enough, she was messaging Vincent. This time I really am pregnant. The doctor said I can't have another abortion, or I might not be able to have kids in the future. Don't worry, I'm not really going to forgive him. I'm just building up more leverage. He bought the apartment, but after all this, he'll be forced to walk away with nothing. So that was her game. She was after the apartment. After dark, Chloe showed up with her parents and brother. I had deadbolt the door, so she couldn't get in. Ethan, I know you're in there. Open this door. I peeked through the peephole. Chloe stood with her hands on her hips, the very picture of a victor. Why didn't open the door? Kevin started kicking it violently. Open up. What? You wanted a divorce, but now you're too scared to even open the door. The camera was rolling. I decided to let them perform for a bit longer. Kevin, in his rage, kept kicking and pounding. Chloe's parents hurled a stream of obscenities at the door. After about 10 minutes, my next-door neighbor, Mr. Henderson, opened his door. What's all this racket about? Kevin just pointed a finger at him. Mind your own business. Go back inside. Mr. Henderson, probably not wanting to get involved with this lunatic family, shut his door. I figured I had enough footage. I opened the door. Well, look who decided to open up. I was starting to think you died in there. My mother-in-law sneered, shoving me aside as she and Chloe marched in. As she passed, Chloe shot me a triumphant smirk. We're not divorced yet. I'm still the lady of this house. You can't keep me out. The whole family plopped down on my sofa, as if they owned the place. I looked at Chloe with disgust. When did you become this person? You know I never did any of those things. She waved her hand dismissively. Does it even matter now if you did them or not? In a marriage, the woman is always the victim. I said you did it, so you did it. Understand. Her words were brazen, a stark contrast to the fragile victim she played online. I was furious. I genuinely wanted to go to the kitchen, grab a knife, and just end them all. I suppressed my rage and looked at her. Just tell me, what will it take for you to agree to a divorce? I was playing the part of the defeated man, but showing weakness didn't mean I was weak. Chloe didn't speak. Her mother did. Sign the deed to this apartment over to my daughter, give her $100,000 in alimony, and then get out with nothing but the clothes on your back. I exploded. Chloe's the one who cheated. Why should I be the one to leave with nothing? And she's pregnant? That baby isn't mine. How dare you say my daughter cheated? If you were a better husband, would she have needed to look elsewhere? And as for the baby, of course it's not yours. It will be the worst luck in the world for my Chloe to be pregnant with your child. My mother-in-law glared at me, her words dripping with venom. If you want this to be over, you'll go online, apologize to my daughter, and then get the hell out of this house. On what grounds? I yelled. On the grounds that you can't give my sister the life she deserves. Kevin jumped to his feet, shaking his fist at me. Look at your pathetic salary. My sister is suffering with you. And what about that job you were supposed to get me? It's been months and nothing. I can't even get a girlfriend. Because of you. A loser like you is just dragging my sister down. He was actually blaming his inability to get a date on me. You have 2 hands and 2 feet. Why can't you get a job yourself? You're all a bunch of vampires, aren't you? You won't stop until you've sucked me dry. I sounded hysterical, which was exactly what I wanted. I was leading them further into my trap. As expected, Chloe stood up and pointed a finger at me. Fine. If that's how you feel, then you could be the one to leave. After that declaration, she and her family stormed out again. I calmly saved the footage from the hidden camera to a USB drive. Honestly, I probably had enough evidence to bury Chloe already, but it still didn't feel like enough. The next morning, I was woken by loud banging on my door. I checked the camera feed. A small crowd of people was standing outside, shouting, "You scumbag, come out and face us. Hey asshole, I brought you a funeral wreath today. Go to hell, cheater." A few of them had even started burning fake money on my doormat, like some kind of bizarre ritual. I called building security, who eventually came up and dispersed them. An hour later, the property manager asked to speak with me. Several residents have complained about the disturbances. Maybe it would be best if you stayed somewhere else for a few days. I thought about it and agreed. I packed a small bag and checked into a nearby hotel. I knew that as soon as Chloe found out I was gone, she'd move back in. Sure enough, that evening, she arrived with her brother and parents in tow, moving right back into my apartment. He thinks he can fight us? He doesn't even know what's coming, Kevin bragged as he started throwing my remaining belongings into trash bags. Chloe, meanwhile, was happily texting Vincent. "Honey, I kicked the loser out. You can move in tomorrow." What Chloe did next, I hadn't anticipated. She started a live stream on Instagram. To boost her viewership, she even paid for promotional placement. In no time, her stream was flooded with people. On camera, Chloe wept, recounting years of my supposed abuse. At one point, for dramatic effect, she lifted her sleeve to show the bruises I'd left on her arm, clearly drawn on with makeup. She even had a forged doctor's report detailing her injuries. The comments poured in. This is breaking my heart. As a woman, I feel her pain. We're with you, sis. You have to stay strong. We're your army. That bastard needs to be left with nothing. As tears streamed down her face, Chloe enabled the donation feature. Sympathy-filled viewers, completely duped by her performance, started sending a flood of gifts and cash. Chloe feigned modesty. You guys don't have to donate. I just want to share my story to warn other women to stay away from toxic men and find their own happiness. And so her first live stream ended. By my rough estimate, she'd raked in over $1,000 in just one night. That was more than she made in a week. And as long as the drama stayed hot, the money would keep rolling in. After she ended the stream, a man walked into my apartment. I zoomed in on the camera feed. It was Vincent. They embraced, and soon they were all over each other, ending up on my bed. It made me sick to my stomach. One minute she was crying on camera about her tragic life. The next she was in bed with her lover in my home. Little did they know, my cameras were recording everything. The happier they were today, the more miserable they would be tomorrow. The next day, Alex found me at the hotel. I got the file on Vincent, he said. Looking over the details, I was stunned. I couldn't believe this was the kind of guy Chloe was involved with. Aside from being decent looking, he was a total freeloader. After college, he'd been living off his parents while they tried to find him a respectable job. His only real employment was as a junior accountant at a small private company. If anyone was a loser, it was this guy. Alex pointed to a line in the report, his eyes wide. Get this. While he was at that company, he embezzled at least $50,000. My jaw dropped. An unexpected bonus. He blew it all on partying and, of course, chasing women, Alex added. I stared at the evidence of Vincent's embezzlement. An idea began to form. After Alex left, I created a new social media profile with a cute, slightly blurry picture of a young woman as the avatar. I sent Vincent a friend request. He wouldn't be suspicious of a random girl. He accepted almost immediately. Hey there, where do I know you from? He messaged. I smiled as I typed back. I saw you at a bar a while back. I thought you were super cute. I was taking a shot in the dark, but his financial records showed most of his spending was at bars. A random girl from a bar adding him would seem plausible. He sent back a laughing emoji. Haha, the curse of being handsome. I laid it on thick, flattering his ego. So, does a cute guy like you have a girlfriend? Sad face. He replied quickly. Not at the moment. My parents are always nagging me to find a nice girl and settle down. I had to laugh. So, Chloe was just a side piece. She thought he was her ticket out, but he wasn't even serious about her. She'd be crushed if she knew. Well, what about me? I typed. He immediately tried a video call. I declined. I'm at home, my mom might see. He was clearly impatient. Okay. Then let's meet up sometime. I'll take you out for drinks, my treat. Okay, I agreed instantly. You pick the place. He sent me the name and address of a trendy downtown bar. After ending the chat, I called Alex and laid out my plan. He was all in and even brought his wife, Sarah, into the loop. After hearing the story, she was just as furious as we were. I can't believe Chloe would do something so horrible. I used to think she was my friend, Sarah said. Ethan, don't worry. I'm in. I know exactly what to do. I was incredibly grateful to both of them. My plan was for Sarah to pretend to be the girl from the fake profile and meet Vincent. I felt guilty for dragging them into my mess and worried about something happening to Sarah. That night, I saw a notification from my home camera. Vincent was telling Chloe he had to work late. A minute later, my fake profile got a message from him asking when I would be at the bar. On my way, I replied, Alex, Sarah, and I arrived at the bar before Vincent. Alex, and I took a table a short distance away from where Vincent was sitting, close enough to intervene if needed. There was no way I was letting Sarah get into any trouble. When Sarah sat down at Vincent's table, his eyes lit up. You're little machi. Watching Vincent's sleazy grin, I felt a knot of anxiety in my stomach. The guy was clearly a player. He might try to get handsy with Sarah, but Sarah was a natural. After a few minutes of charming conversation, Vincent insisted on buying them drinks. Sarah feigned concern. Oh, we don't have to get anything expensive. Don't be silly. I've got plenty of money, Vincent bragged, waving over the waitress and ordering a bottle of champagne that cost a fortune. To my surprise, Sarah could really hold her liquor. She matched Vincent drink for drink. Alex chuckled beside me. My wife is a legend. She can outdrink almost anyone. Most guys can't keep up with her. Just as Alex predicted, Sarah drank Vincent under the table. He was completely hammered. As he got drunker, he tried to grab her hand. Sarah quickly stood up, smiling sweetly. I'm getting a little tipsy. I should probably head home. She then showered him with compliments about how much fun she'd had, promising they should do again soon. Vincent, grinning from ear to ear, stumbled toward the restroom to throw up. On her way out, while his back was turned, Sarah took out a small bottle of perfume and spritzed it on his collar. The move was so brilliant, I almost laughed out loud. Pure psychological warfare. After leaving the bar, I thanked Sarah profusely. Don't even mention it, she said, waving it off. If you say thank you again, I'm not helping anymore. Alex put his arm around her, and they headed home. Watching them walk away, I felt a pang of envy. When would I ever find a wife as amazing as Sarah? I went back to my hotel and pulled up the live feed from my apartment. A little while later, Vincent staggered in. Seriously, man? You don't have your own place? I made a mental note to sell the apartment as soon as the divorce was final. It was tainted. Chloe looked like she had just finished another live stream. I check her account. She'd made over $2,000 tonight. Insane. Where have you been? She asked Vincent. The boss took us out for drinks. I had too much. As Chloe helped him toward the bedroom, she stopped short. Wait, why do you smell like perfume? Vincent froze, then sniffed his own shirt. Oh, you know that woman at work I told you about? The one with the body odor problem? She douses herself in perfume. I must have brushed up against her. His excuse was lame, and they started to argue. Vincent, drunk and bold, stood his ground. I told you what happened. Believe it or not. Chloe started crying, wailing that all men were trash. Vincent, I'm carrying your baby. How could you do this to me? The fight ended when Vincent, tired of arguing, sent her $1,000 via payment app. Just like that, Chloe quieted down. Over the next few days, Chloe continued to post her sob stories, and the drama even landed her on Instagram's trending list. Her nightly live streams became a fixture, each one bringing in thousands of dollars in donations. To solidify her image as a virtuous victim, she even posted a photoshopped receipt showing a $10,000 donation to the Red Cross. That sealed the deal for her followers. They were completely convinced of her sincerity and started urging her to go to the police and file for divorce, demanding I be sent to jail. Amidst the hurricane of online hate, I finally called the number Amelia had given me. Hello, is this Mr. Davis? I need to file a lawsuit. When I arrived at the law firm, I found Mr. Davis to be a bit cold. So, you're the guy from Instagram? The one who abuses his wife? His question caused several people in the office to turn and stare at me. I could hear them whispering. So that's him. He doesn't look like a good person. I can't believe he has the nerve to show his face here. He should be at home apologizing to his wife. Shameless. I heard people are leaving funeral wreaths at his door. I don't condone it, but for a scumbag like that, it's what he deserves. Mr. Davis's tone was sharp. What is it that you want? I want to divorce my wife and sue her for defamation. He rolled his eyes. And your evidence? I handed him the USB drive I had prepared. He took it, probably expecting a few flimsy screenshots. But as he watched the videos and read the text logs, his expression changed completely. He led me into his private office. Is all of this evidence authentic? I nodded and told him the entire story from the beginning. When I finished, he let out a long sigh. I can't believe this is what really happened. He poured me a glass of water, his demeanor much warmer now. I'll take your case. Online defamation of this magnitude is a serious, high-profile issue. It has caused you significant damages. For now, he said, go home and organize any additional evidence you have. I will handle the rest. As I was leaving, Mr. Davis asked me what outcome I was hoping for. I smiled grimly. Whatever the law dictates. I paused, then added under my breath, but I hope she goes to prison. Leaving the law firm, I took a deep breath of fresh air. For the first time, I felt like victory was within reach. Just then, my phone rang. It was Amelia. Mr. Davis just called me. He said you want to see him. He's one of the best in the city, Ethan. Don't worry. I'll have another word with him to make sure he gives your case his full attention. I thank her again. She had been a lifesaver. Before hanging up, she added, the company is planning to expand into live stream commerce. It's a big challenge for us, but it's also a huge opportunity for you. I hope you'll be ready for it. My scandal had cost the company business, yet here she was, not only keeping me on, but offering me a new path forward. I was overwhelmed with gratitude and resolved to repay her trust. You've spent years filling your head with knowledge, Ethan, she said. It's time to let it shine. With those parting words, she hung up. Throughout Chloe's entire smear campaign, I hadn't said a single word in my own defense. Chloe, meanwhile, was only getting more extreme. She had painted me as an irredeemable monster, a demon who abused his pregnant wife. I held my tongue, not because I was afraid of her, but because I was waiting for the right moment to deliver a fatal blow. I wanted Chloe and her entire family to pay a devastating price for what they had done. As for Vincent, he'd been messaging my fake profile nonstop, saying he really liked me and asking if I'd ever thought about marriage. Was this player actually thinking about settling down? Or was Sarah just that good an actress? When Sarah heard, she laughed and playfully punched Alex's arm. See? I've still got it. This guy wants to marry me. Marriage was obviously out of the question, but Sarah was ready for one last performance. She told Vincent that marriage wasn't off the table, but they'd need a place to live. Without hesitation, Vincent replied, no problem. I'll take care of the house. I'd seen his financials. He didn't have the money for a down payment on a broom closet in this city. He had to be up to something crooked. Sure enough, a few days later, Vincent contacted my fake profile, boasting that he had the money for a down payment. He said if I agreed to marry him, he would even put my name on the deed. Sarah laughed when I told her. My name on the deed? That's probably not a good idea. But she gallantly agreed to see the charade through. On the day they were supposed to sign the papers, Sarah, wearing a hat and a mask, played the part of the doting girlfriend, clinging to Vincent's arm. They went to the sales office, and Vincent paid the down payment. He repeatedly insisted on adding Sarah's name to the paperwork, but she demurely refused. You worked so hard for this, honey. This is your premarital asset. I couldn't possibly put my name on it. Vincent was probably ecstatic. Compared to the money-sucking vampire that was Chloe, Sarah was his dream girl. After leaving the sales office, Vincent leaned in close to Sarah and whispered that he was tired and wanted to go to a hotel to rest. Alex and I, trailing behind them, smirked. The fox was finally showing his tail. Sarah lowered her head and giggled. Okay, you go ahead and get a room. I'll just run to the store and buy. You know, Vincent knew exactly what she meant. He gave her a wink and practically skipped off to book a hotel room. A few minutes later, the room number was sent to my fake profile. Sarah walked over to us and took off her mask. What are you looking at? The show's over. Let's go home. Wait, I said. There's an encore. I quickly took the photos of Vincent and Sarah at the sales office, did a little cropping, and sent them in a text message to Chloe from a burner number. I included the hotel room number. After I hit send, Alex grinned. Why go home now? The whole point of putting on a show is to watch the finale. The three of us, masked and inconspicuous, sat in the hotel lobby and waited. Vincent was still messaging my fake profile. Where are you? I'm waiting. I typed back. Almost there. Just bought a few fun toys. He sent back a winking emoji and said he was going to take a shower. Less than 10 minutes later, Chloe stormed into the lobby, her face a thundercloud. She was so blinded by rage, she didn't even notice the three of us sitting there. She marched straight for the elevators. A wicked idea popped into my head. I'm going up, I said. I need more evidence. Upstairs, Vincent was in the shower. He heard a knock and quickly threw on a towel to open the door. Hey babe, what took you so long? Smack. A handprint blossomed on his cheek. Vincent, you cheating bastard. You're screwing around behind my back. The commotion drew people out of their rooms. I blended into the crowd, my phone calmly recording the scene. Inside the room, Vincent and Chloe were wrestling. Chloe, are you crazy? What are you talking about? She shoved my text message in his face. Seeing other women behind my back and buying her an apartment? Did you forget I'm carrying your child? Vincent was stunned. His small brain clearly couldn't process what was happening. Just then, someone in the crowd recognized Chloe. Hey, isn't that the Moonlight girl from Instagram? Oh my God. So this must be the abusive husband. Let's go, guys. We're all on our side. Let's get this scumbag. The crowd surged into the room. A moment later, Vincent's blood-curdling screams echoed down the hallway. I stood by the door, watching him passively. Seeing Vincent get beaten to a pulp felt good. He deserved it. You don't get to destroy someone's family and walk away unscathed. Turns out, sometimes a mob can be useful. The police finally arrived and rescued Vincent. He was battered and bruised. I'm not her husband, he cried pitifully. You got the wrong guy. A police officer turned to Chloe. Ma'am, what's going on here? Chloe panicked. She had no explanation. Was she supposed to admit Vincent was her lover? That would make her a liar and a cheater. A few of the onlookers, still fired up, rallied behind her. Don't be scared. You're the victim here. This scumbag isn't going anywhere. He's still denying it. What a piece of trash. Yeah, he belongs in jail. I turned and left with Alex and Sarah. Jail. I can help with that. Without a second thought, I forwarded the evidence of Vincent's embezzlement directly to his company CEO. Walking out of the hotel, I felt a sense of profound, quiet satisfaction. Alex asked me what was next. I told him I'd already hired a lawyer and would be filing the lawsuit in a few days. I don't know how the mess at the hotel was resolved. I imagine it wasn't pretty. That night, I watched the camera feed again. Chloe's parents and brother were with her. Her mother was trying to console her. What happened? I thought Vincent was a good guy. Chloe just stared blankly into space. She clearly couldn't figure out where things had gone wrong. Her brother, Kevin, slammed his fist on the table. It has to be that loser Ethan. He's behind this. I'm going to go find him and settle this. Chloe grabbed his arm. Stay out of it. After a moment of silence, Kevin spoke up again. Look, sis, whatever's going on, you have to keep streaming. We've made over 20 grand in just a few days. My down payment for a house depends on you. And I saw this car I want, he added. It's like 40 grand. You got to keep working hard. Her parents chimed in, urging Chloe to focus and cash in on the drama before the public lost interest. Chloe finally looked up, her voice trembling. What if Ethan sues us? He's been quiet for days, and it's freaking me out. And what about Vincent? After this, how can we be together? I'm still pregnant with his baby. Her mother scoffed. What are you afraid of? Public opinion is on our side. So what if that loser finds out? We're women. With a weaker sex. The law will protect us. Her father added fuel to the fire. Exactly. Worst case, we just apologize to him. What more can he do? Your father is right, her mother urged. Right now, your priority is to make as much money as possible while people are still paying attention. Chloe composed herself and started another live stream. The chat was buzzing about the incident at the hotel. LOL, I heard the scumbag husband got beat up today. That's awesome. Serve him right. Hope they beat him to death. Cheaters never change. I heard he was cheating on Moonlight, even today. The nerve of that guy. Chloe didn't say a word. She just sat there and cried, tears streaming down her face as if on cue. The donations started pouring in again, with a few whales dropping hundreds of dollars at a time. Through the camera feed, I could see her parents and brother just off-screen, beaming with excitement. Suddenly, a comment from a user named Mr. Davis appeared in the chat. You should be careful. Inciting a mob online to harass someone can be a serious crime, potentially leading to jail time. The entire chat turned on him, accusing him of being heartless. How can you say that when this poor woman is suffering? Some even threatened to dox him and give him a taste of his own medicine. I guess it had to be my lawyer. Worried he'd become their next target, I quickly messaged him, telling him not to reveal his identity. He replied with 4 simple words. Truth will prevail. In the live stream, Chloe saw his comment, and a flash of panic crossed her face. She mumbled a few parting words and abruptly ended the broadcast. What are you doing? Kevin demanded. Tonight could have been a $3,000 night. Chloe's voice was shaky. Someone in the chat said, what we're doing is inciting a mob and that we could go to jail for it. Kevin rolled his eyes, the picture of arrogance. That's just some idiot who doesn't know the law. What does he know? I had to laugh. Kevin, a high school dropout who got expelled for fighting, was calling a top city lawyer an idiot who knew nothing about the law. We'd see who really knew nothing. The next day, I organized all my evidence one last time and took it to Mr. Davis. Mr. Davis, I'm counting on you, I said. Don't worry, he replied, his eyes firm. This is a 100% win. He told me the trial could start in as little as 2 weeks. I thanked him again. He clapped me on the shoulder. I know the past few weeks have been hell for you, but it's almost over. He paused, then added, I'm glad you didn't do something drastic. You knew how to use the law to protect yourself. You're a smart man. As I was leaving, he added with a slight smile, you'll need to be more careful when choosing a wife next time. Hey, Amelia is only a couple of years older than you, isn't she? Have you considered? I had no idea why he was suddenly playing matchmaker. My face flushed, and I quickly excused myself. As I drove away, my cheeks still burning, I couldn't help but picture Amelia's confident, pretty face. Damn it, Mr. Davis had gotten into my head. 3 days later, Mr. Davis called to tell me the court had officially accepted the case. He said Chloe would have been served the papers by now and that I should be prepared. I thanked him and hung up, only for my phone to ring again almost immediately. It was Chloe. You're suing me? When we go to court, I said calmly, make sure you bring your parents and your brother. Then I hung up. Chloe finally seemed to realize the situation was more serious than she thought. She called me again and again. Well, I didn't answer. She blew up my phone with texts. Ethan, are you an ungrateful bastard? After everything we've been through, you're taking me to court over this. I'm so disappointed in you. I never said I wouldn't divorce you. Why won't you answer your phone? Are you scared to face me? Scared? That was laughable. I called a few of my friends and went back to the apartment. The family of vampires was still there, squatting in my home as if they owned it. What are you doing here? You're not welcome. Get out. My mother-in-law shrieked, jumping to her feet. This is my apartment. Why can't I be here? I shot back. If anyone should be getting out, it's all of you. My father-in-law stood up, his face red with anger. Ethan, scared? That was laughable. I called a few of my friends and went back to the apartment. The family of vampires was still there, squatting in my home as if they owned it. What are you doing here? You're not welcome. Get out. My mother-in-law shrieked, jumping to her feet. This is my apartment. Why can't I be here? I shot back. If anyone should be getting out, it's all of you. My father-in-law stood up, his face red with anger. Ethan, I was so wrong about you. We weren't picky. We let you marry our daughter, and this is how you repay us? I must have been blind. You're suing my daughter over such a small thing. You just want a divorce, right? Agree to her terms, and you can have it. It was clear they still didn't understand the gravity of what Chloe had done. Or maybe they were willfully ignorant. Terms? You're still after my apartment. Kevin leaped up. Of course she should get the apartment. What kind of man are you? Besides, my sister is making thousands of dollars a day now. You're a loser. You can't support her, so get out of her life with nothing. I couldn't help but laugh. Easy money really was addictive. But they had no idea that money earned that quickly can disappear just as fast. I turned to Chloe, and she felt like a complete stranger. Do you have any idea what you've done wrong? I asked. Me? She pointed to herself. What did I do wrong? You're the one who forced me to do this. Forced you? I repeated with a sarcastic laugh. Let me ask you this. When are you going to sign the divorce papers? She was still trying to bluff. I never said I wouldn't, but at least half of this apartment is mine. It's my premarital property. Why should you get half? And what about putting me on blast online, sicking a mob on me? What about Vincent, your old flame? If you want to hook up with your ex, get a hotel room. Why are you doing it in my house? She had nothing to say. Her eyes darted around, unable to meet my gaze. Kevin stepped in front of me. You piece of shit. Vincent is 100 times the man you are. 1,000 times. You're not even worthy of polishing his shoes. This family was a lost cause. I wasn't going to waste any more time. I'll see you in court, I said. As for your precious Vincent, I think he has bigger problems to worry about now. With that, I turned and walked out with my friends. We ended up a local bar, and I started downing beers one after another. All the pain and frustration of the past few years came rushing to the surface. Alex put a hand on my arm, telling me to take it easy. Life is a mess sometimes, man, he said. When this is all over, we'll take a trip, clear your head. I clinked my bottle against his. Thanks, brother. It means a lot. I got blackout drunk that night. The old Ethan, the pushover, died that day. The new Ethan would rise from the ashes tomorrow. I was lucky to have friends like Alex, people who believed in me and stood by me when I was at my lowest. Soon enough, I heard news about Vincent. He had been arrested for embezzlement. Turns out he was more than just a sleazeball. He was a bona fide criminal. Just as I suspected, the money for the down payment had come straight from his company's accounts. The audacity. After his arrest, Chloe and Vincent were officially over. She was left with nothing but a mess. She probably never imagined her affair would end so spectacularly. Chloe tried to keep streaming, desperate to squeeze a little more cash out of her 15 minutes of fame. But making money off lies has consequences. The first blow came from an unexpected source, the Red Cross. They issued a public statement on their official social media, stating they had never received a donation from Chloe. They also announced that they believed her donation receipt and their official seal were forged and had already reported the matter to the authorities. It was beautiful. Chloe's world must have been spinning. A few days later, I received the summons for our court date. I saw Chloe and her family waiting outside the courthouse. Ethan, do we really have to do this? She pleaded. Can't you just drop the lawsuit? We can go back to how things were. I didn't know where she found the audacity to suggest we could just go back. I wanted to go back, I said coldly. But not anymore. Her mother was as belligerent as ever. Ethan, we were so wrong about you. You think bringing us to court scares us? What a joke. I looked at her, my expression flat. I'm not trying to scare you. But there's something you seem to have forgotten about. The law. Her father yelled, what about the law? We haven't done anything wrong. And Kevin, ever the hothead. Yeah, you think we're idiots? Drop the lawsuit and stop wasting public resources. I almost had to admire him. He learned a new phrase. It sounded completely alien coming out of his mouth. Chloe knew I must have evidence. Ethan, I'm begging you. I know I was wrong. I was sure the only thing she was sorry about was getting caught and sued. I doubted she felt any real remorse for her actions. I ignored her and walked toward the courthouse steps. Ethan, don't you know you're destroying me? She cried out from behind me. I turned back to look at her, this woman who was now less than a stranger to me. You destroyed me first, I said and walked inside. During the trial, Chloe continued to argue her case, claiming she only meant to embarrass me a little and never expected things to get so out of hand. She even offered to get on her knees and beg for my forgiveness. I just laughed. Even now, she was still trying to spin the narrative. I signaled to Mr. Davis. He presented all the evidence I had collected. Chloe's face went white. The cheating, inciting the online mob, fabricating stories, the defamation. It was all there. Her family was equally stunned by how much proof I had. My mother-in-law and father-in-law jumped to their feet, screaming that I was an ungrateful bastard. They even started cursing at the judge. Kevin tried to lunge at me, and when he was restrained, he picked up a chair and threw in my direction. Despite repeated warnings from the bailiffs, they continued their insane tirade. Finally, the judge had them all arrested for contempt of court. You reap what you sow. As he was being cuffed, Kevin screamed, You can't send my sister to jail? She's pregnant. The law protects pregnant women. I frowned. I had overlooked that detail. But this time, fate was on my side. It turned out that the day after Vincent was arrested, Chloe had gone to a clinic and had an abortion. She was no longer pregnant. She was eligible for prison. In the midst of all this, our divorce was finalized. The apartment she so desperately wanted remained my premarital property. She got nothing. At the final sentencing, Chloe was found guilty of severe defamation, causing immense damage to my reputation. The judge handed down a fair sentence. 2 years and 6 months. All the money she made from her live streams was to be returned to the donors. I knew most of it had already been spent by Kevin. How they would pay it back was no longer my problem. When the sentence was announced, Chloe collapsed to the floor, sobbing and looking at me with pleading eyes. I just stared back at her, a small, involuntary smile playing on my lips. Suddenly, Chloe scrambled to her feet and pointed a trembling finger at her parents. "This is all your fault. You told me to divorce Ethan. You told me to get with Vincent. This is all because of you." As her hysterical shrieks filled the courtroom, I walked out. The bright, warm sunlight hit my face, and I felt a sense of peace I hadn't known in years. It was all over, but I felt no joy of victory. My life, which had been perfectly fine, had been utterly destroyed by her. The case became a national news story. Just as Mr. Davis had said, it was a landmark case for online defamation. The tide of public opinion turned completely. So that was the real story. That lying which got what she deserved. I knew it. No man would treat his wife like that for no reason. So satisfying. I hope her whole family rots in jail. You go, Ethan. I support you. I wondered how many of these people were the same ones who would call me a scumbag, told me to die, sent me funeral wreaths, and burned fake money for me. But it didn't matter anymore. Outside the courthouse, a car pulled up beside me. "Get in," a familiar voice said. Amelia was smiling at me from the driver's seat, gesturing to the passenger side. "It's over now. Time to focus on the company's new business venture." The car pulled away, leaving my past in the rearview mirror. Soon, I was thriving in my new role. Amelia said I had a good on-camera presence and a wealth of knowledge, so she gave me my own live stream channel dedicated to selling books. My academic background and passion for literature resonated with viewers, and I quickly built a large following. Within a month, I had over 3 million followers. On stream, I was witty and engaging, drawing on everything I had ever learned. I became a minor internet celebrity. Thanks to my channel, the company's revenue increased tenfold. Eventually, I was offered shares in the company. A year later, my annual income hit 7 figures. My life had completely transformed, and this time, love came to me on its own terms. After a persistent but respectful courtship, Amelia became my wife. Our story became something of a legend in our industry. Many years later, I was dropping my daughter off at school when I saw a woman on the street corner handing out flyers. Chloe. She looked years older than she was. Deep wrinkles were etched into her face. Time had been cruel to this woman, who was not yet 40. As I drove past, I rolled up the window of my Mercedes. My daughter pointed. "Daddy, that lady looks so sad. A lot of people aren't taking her flyers." I gently stroked her hair. "Next time you see someone handing out flyers, you could take an extra one. It might help her get home a little earlier." My daughter nodded. "You're the best, Daddy. The best in the whole world." And she was right. But I wasn't just the best dad. I was also the best husband.